Oh, yeah. Just when things start to calm down, we got problems coming. Anybody watching the weather? It's not good. They're talking a big storm with freezing ice, snow, temperatures, and we're looking at widespread power outages when it's cold and the furnace blower needs electric. And yeah, this is going to be fun. The last weekends have been crappy with weather, but this is going to be the big kahuna. Hello, Mr. Hinkle. And I am actually praying that God would lessen the impact of this or maybe turn it away, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. You know, when I lived up north, I never even thought about ice storms, blizzard, or snow. The power up in Minnesota always worked. You're used to it. But down here, it sucks. Hello, Vendetta. Hello, Irish. Hello, lady. Hello, that pale girl. Yeah, they're talking northern Georgia, the Carolinas. They're talking a huge swath of the U.S. is going to get blasted. And I've always said this. Every year without fail in January, this side of the country gets slammed with some sort of a big blizzard, ice storm, something. Now we're in it. Irish, how are you? 2 feet of snow in Indiana. Good grief. Yeah, well, down here, the temperature is going to hover right at the dangerous zone. And what I'm worried about is the trees knocking out the power lines because they'll get ice on them. The pine trees are more susceptible because of all the needles. I've watched in Colorado pine trees, big boughs just crack and drop. And everything is up against power lines here. Georgia Power came down our street and started cutting back trees who were in danger of hitting power lines, which was good. And then Helene came and the trees fell and knocked out all the power lines. So the good news is we have less trees to worry about hitting power lines because Helene kind of groomed them out. So I'm hoping if we lose power, it won't be as bad. Really, pale girl. So they're calling for it in Mississippi too? The teacher got arrested again. Are you serious? What did he get arrested for? That's crazy. In Ireland? Hey, Faith, it's all right. I'm hesitant. Hi, Jesse. I almost said I wish that I was Jesse's girl. No, I wish that I was Jesse's guy. But I thought he was fired from his job. So how did he get arrested now? I want to know why disturbed mentally ill people can demand that we call them something that they're not. Can we just legally say, you know what, I'm going to avoid the pronouns. Say, delusional, you have a good day. Then that'll be considered harassment. But you are delusional. You were born a girl, and you want us to call you a man or sir. I don't think so. I just do not think so. It's a bunch of bunk. Look, can I just be blunt? Even as Christians, I have no problem if people are going through this little mental weirdness. I do it. You want to try on sissy clothes, you want to wear panties, you want to do it. But when you are going to say, I identify as a girl, when you're grown with a thing, don't expect us all to go along with that. I'm going to call you ma'am or sir accordingly. according to our Constitution, Congress shall make no laws concerning it. Thank you, lady. Wow, wouldn't you know it? Lady's going to remind me. You know what the difference is, though, lady? I had Tina, my school teacher buddy that rented here. Being in a cold, dark house for days on the weekend with nobody, no internet, that means, hey, you guys, when you all get on here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go, where's Mike? I guarantee you there's trouble going on. Because if the power's out, I'm shutting the phone down so I don't lose the charge. And tomorrow I may have to, after work, just go buy a charger so I can sit in my truck every so often and idle it and warm it up and charge the phone at the same time. At least I got a full tank of gas. Crazy. At least I got a gas stove so I can still cook. Just can't microwave jack. But that's okay. I will survive. It's so funny. When I lived in Minnesota, I didn't even think about these storms. I loved it. I like looking out the window. I like watching the ice on the trees. I remember in Minnesota, it gets so cold, but there's so much humidity in the air that the trees were like they were frosted, and you drive and it was like a winter wonderland. You're just looking at ice crystals. And then there was something up in Minnesota called sundogs. It gets so cold, there's rings around the sun during daytime. We're talking 30, 40 below zero, and they call them sundogs. There's these arcs of rings out around the sun. And I remember Minnesota skies could be purpley pink. There's just something different up north, and I missed that. Their power grid was awesome. And I promise you this, if I ever get out of this place, I want a smaller place. That way when the power goes out, I want a wood stove. And even if I don't have an electric or a gas stove, I'll buy a Coleman stove, the butane bottles. That way you can always use it in a pinch. No generator. No. I'd have to build a thing for it because it would walk in this neighborhood. People will be running those, I promise you. $45 below in Saskatchewan. Wow. Sounds like time for an outdoor volleyball game and barbecue and bikinis, Faith. I'll be right over. I'll start up the grill. Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit? I don't think we will tomorrow, Aunt Mary. My phone app says rain. It's going to be near 60 tomorrow, so Saturday is iffy. Monday is going to be down to 29. That's going to be crappy, and then they're calling for rain all 4 days. I would recommend you guys go get your shopping done today and don't wait for the stuff to happen. You know how people are. They're going to panic. I got enough stuff in the house to last me food-wise. I don't have to worry about everything going bad in the fridge. Just keep the door shut. Temperature will just steadily drop when the furnace doesn't do its cycle. I'll just hole up in here. I got a buttload of blankets, and I might just take advantage of sleeping again and again and again. Then get up and be like, great, what do I do now? It's cold. Go back under the covers, Michael. Going to Chattanooga. Yes, Iris. Aunt Mary, I was wondering that because my management told us yesterday in our safety meeting, said if you don't think you can make it and it's not safe and you got children involved, then stay home. As far as I know, we're going to be open. You may get here and may be the only one here. I'm close. I can walk. But if it's glare ice, shoot, my truck ain't leaving the yard. Hey, Chad. Hey, Shannon. Thank you. Hi, Nikki. Man, only have one tree in imminent danger of hitting the front of the house. It literally, the trunk is about that big around. It only goes up about 15 feet and then it turns into, it's a tree that looks like it got radiation exposure. The main trunk goes up and it branches off into branches. And it grew on either side and enveloped the chain link fence. You'd literally have to destroy the fence to remove the tree. When I get a certain mile mark ahead, I want to get a tree service just to top it down to 20 feet. So don't worry about the snag. Just get all them limbs that are in danger of hitting my power line in the house. Get rid of them. But it's expensive. I had an oak removed, $4,200. No, John, I'm not a rapper. Hey, Jessica, if you can't safely make it to work, moon your boss. Not literally, but moon them. Say, hey, dock me, hate me, beat me, do what you got to do, but I'm not going to die going to work. I'm not the Jackson 5, John. There's only one Jackson. And he was good. He was disturbed, but he was good at his music. I don't know anybody that didn't like Michael Jackson. And maybe I'm going through some of that. What is it when we men get older, we get a little off? I'm wearing female tops. What's up with that? Now, let me say something, because I don't have these tendencies, but I'm in my 50s. A lot of 50-year-old men, that's when they pop. They'll murder somebody or shoot somebody, and no, that's not in me. Killing and death is not my thing. But yeah, part of it is because we're alone. No, it isn't. And you guys, hey, House Kid, how are you? Jessica, no job is worth your life. What do you mean you're my neighbor, my ex-coworker? There's no coworkers that live on my street. Do you have any simple meal favorites? That's good, Oz Kid. Glad to hear it. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that. Mr. E-Rock, how are you? Mr. E-Rock, they're looking at upwards of 8 inches of snow. And they've got a work contingency plan as well. He's 2 hours north of me. They'll get the snow. And the problem here in Georgia, we don't get that nice powdery light stuff that you get way up north. You get that cement that weights everything down, snaps lines, fun stuff. That's all you get down here is the crappy wintry mix. When I see wintry mix, I'm like, I'd rather have 4 feet of powder than that. I remember snow so cold you could go out there and go, and it'd make a blizzard. That's the best stuff. Yeah, ramen noodles. Oh, I got my mac and cheese, tuna. Oh, I can't even cook my rice pouches. That sucks. I should get the rice in the box so I can at least boil it. They are, Nikki. You know why? Because people forgot. Go back to the 70s when the Ohio turnpikes had cars buried in 10 feet of snow, abandoned on the interstates. The 70s and the 80s, they saw snow in this country that never quit. We don't get those kind of storms anymore. We don't get those anymore. Wait a minute. Mary, hold on. Are you the one that just recently was in the hospital and survived all that? Because if you are, my hat is off to you. You went through some stuff. Yes. Oh my gosh. How are you? How are you? We were the only ones closest to transportation. No. You were the one that talked to me about fishing once, right? You're not that person. Man, I got to figure out, who are you? Oh, Jim, I saw some of the videos. They showed deer running around in the middle of the street. Did you see Russia? They got snow drifts that are just stories high. Stories. And they said this is not AI. Did you see some of those videos? I can't even pronounce the name of the place. It's across in Russia from the Bering Strait in Alaska. They're getting buried. Hey, Paul. All right. Mary, now I have to ask dumb questions. Are you black or are you white? So I'm trying to narrow it down. It's going as low as Houston. Because I was encouraged yesterday when the line was moved further north in Georgia. Mary. Yeah, and I'm thinking you're short. You have faith in God. The only one I can think of is, why am I drawing a blank on your name? You were a monitor on Mr. Oh, what's his name? The guy could be a crab and a half. Why am I drawing a blank? If you're the one I'm thinking of, you were the woman that rode with a guy, and he could be you ended up leaving him because he talked rudely to you. You're a driver. You're not you're not Miss S, are you? You heard what happened to me, right? You heard I got fired because I did a video talking about that woman getting beat up in Cincinnati. They fired me because I did a video being very honest, accused me of being racist. I didn't know you lived in my neighborhood. Now I know who you are. Yank. Well, The Southerners don't know what to call me because I'm not a Yankee, but they call me that because I said I lived in Minnesota, but I was born in California. So what does that make me? Well, today everybody hates California, but I left there at a time when California was literally in the golden era. Disneyland, bikes, the beach, great American hero. I mean, California was the place to be, and look at what's happened to it. Look at what's happened to it. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. Gavin Newsom sucks. He's one of the worst governors the state's ever had. Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. I made a statement. I mean this. Vote me for governor in California. I'm not governor material, but I promise you I'll run the state better than he does. I know about fire danger. I know about the Sierra Nevadas. I know about Death Valley. I know that state well. I've been up and down and all over it. And I know one thing about the people. And this country needs to stop favoring Silicon Valley and the tech giants and the rich people. They need to start favoring working class Americans again. I'm getting tired of all this. You lived in Southern California, now in the UK. That had to be a switcheroo. Hi, Carol. Well, Aunt Mary, I'm glad you're here. What are you doing now? What are you doing now? Oh, gosh, UK has been inundated by craziness. Hello, Frosty. Are you still driving, Mary? I was going to say, you must be driving the bus if you're getting ready to go to work. I miss serving you guys at the pumps. Most of you are all very nice to me, and it was a pleasure serving you. We don't need a winter version of Helene, folks. The only good thing I can say about Helene, it cleared out a lot of trees, so maybe we'll have less power outages because of that. But a lot of trees were weakened in that storm. Get too much ice, that could be the rest of it. Well, Aunt Mary, I'm glad you're here. Yes. Oh, and I've been, I know that. I'm getting calls from some people. I'm getting calls, and I'm like, and I heard they let him take one of the district vehicles home. I'm like, what's that all about? Only the supervisors and foremen can do that. They favor the worst workers there. You know what? I was mad about it. I'm still mad about it. But guess what? Well, there's too many trolls on here, so I can't say it. The only thing I can say is God has blessed me. Yeah, it was a major inconvenience. I sold the dang truck because of it. Thought I was going to have to get out of here. And God is good. God cares about my place. I put too much work in this house. And you know what? Just like that song, I will survive because of him. We got to look at the Bible. People are falsely accused. Talking about racial issues does not make you a racist. I don't use the N-word. I don't say it. I didn't grow up like that. I've dated black women. I have no hangups about that. Zero. But we live in a country that is so divisive, and it's all political from the left, trying to get us to believe that my race is so evil, so racist, so entitled. Shoot, I'd like to know where my privilege card is. I've had to work my butt off. I put in 6 years at the board. I did my job at 110%, and there's not anybody there that would say I didn't. Yeah, he goes in the shack and sleeps. He did it when I was there. I had to tell myself I don't wake him up. I tore apart the bulk of those buses myself. The ones that were really bad, I told him, you patch these rips. I'm going to take these bad buses. I'm going to be in them for at least 2 days each. That seems to be the way it is down here. They reward the sloths. They still have a job. Absolutely, Mary, because you know me. You guys would come up and give me hugs, and I hugged you back. And you go, ooh, I was just touched by a black person. I'm not like that. There were little kids on my bus. Boys and girls come up in my driver's seat when I drove, and they throw their little brown arms around me, and I'm like, what really got me is when you hear kids say, I wish you were my daddy. How am I supposed to drive my route when that kid just said that? They give me so much hell on this bus, and then a kid shocks you saying, I wish you were my daddy. Oh my gosh. God has given me the ability to reach across cultural lines. But when you have a culture, irregardless of the race, of darkness, it ruins anything. There's whites that are in the dark. There's blacks that are in the dark. Asians, Hispanics. If you're lost, you're lost. And if you subscribe to a belief that's blaming everybody but yourself, you got to get back to square one. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Yes. It was literally right after school started. That's cool, Max. Dating sites, I don't do them anymore. I'm done. I hung that up. I hung it up in 2015 when I went all the way to Huntsville, Alabama. Met a Puerto Rican woman, spent a week with her. The first couple days was cool. Her mother was bipolar, and her mother started acting up. And then I was shocked to find out she wanted me to come out and hang out with her, and she figured this is going to be easy. I like Mike, but he gets to go back home, and I don't have to deal with it. And her friend drove me to Nashville to catch my flight back to Denver, and she said she has dated a lot of guys, and she allowed her mother to destroy every relationship. And I told her, out of all the guys you met, Mike is the best one. Don't screw this up. It wasn't to be. She was cute. I'll tell you what, beauty-wise, perfect. You know, everybody got problems, but it just seems like people are just compounded with interest, with principle and interest with problems today. You got to be careful who you get involved with. It could just do your life in. Oh, yes, Aunt Mary. There's a leak in this old building, and my soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. Oh, my soul has got to move. I did it because it was what I was feeling inside, and I tried to make humor about it. I love that song. I also like, there's trouble on my way. I have to cry sometimes. What do you mean, the third person referral? Remind me of something. How'd she act up? She smoked pot. She got mad at her mother, went upstairs, and locked herself in the bathroom. I smelled the marijuana, and I walked upstairs, and I said, really? Are you smoking pot? Her mother starts laughing downstairs, and she goes, yes. I said, man, put out your blunt. I'm sick of my mom. She ruins my life. Yeah, you're a grown woman, and you let her live in your house, and she's dictating you? You're paying the mortgage? You can't have a boyfriend? And then she let her dogs pee all over the beautiful hardwood floor. She had a beautiful Southern colonial home. Hollering, yes. She bought way more house. She was upside down. She worked at Sprint selling phones. She ended up losing that job. Yes, thank you, Mr. E-Rock. I don't know why I do that, CB. It's just the nuances of Michael. There's really no explanation. Treaty Oak Revival. I'll have to look that up. But I liked her. I've got her address written down. I ought to write her, see if she even responds, but I doubt it. If she still even owns the place. The last Google image, it showed her and her mother's car in the driveway. Oh my gosh. She had me driving her around in her Volkswagen Jetta. Nice little car. I'm not a car guy. And we go to see her friend and we get pulled over by the Alabama State Trooper. I'm like, I looked at her and said, what am I getting pulled over for? I wasn't speeding or nothing. Guy comes up with the trooper hat on. How you doing this evening? I said, good. What did I get pulled over for? I said, I not going to. No, you drive very well. I've been following you. You got expired plates. I looked right at her and I said, this is my girlfriend's car. I'm from Colorado. Here's my license. I'm out visiting and I didn't know they were expired. He goes, don't worry about it. I was just going to give you a little reminder. Get those, go down to that tag office this week and get that taken care of, young lady. She just sat there and I said, really? You know I have a commercial driver's license and I didn't even look at your car because I figured, I'm sorry. I said, I'm driving to your friend's house. After that, you're the driver. I'm going to be chauffeured. Don't do that. Aunt Mary, you have a good day and be safe out there. And thank you. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here. There's something for everybody. Sometimes it gets crazy. Sometimes I get raw and passionate, but it's just me being me. You have a good day. Be safe out there. Hopefully your bus isn't breaking down every other day. All that raggedy fleet over there. Good night. Did they even get those electrics going? Or are they still sitting there doing nothing? 25 electric buses, $450,000 a piece. What a waste of money. Sitting there over a year with no charging station. Somebody put the horse before the cart. CB, I'm not taking it that way. Christine, how are you? Max, you got insomnia based on stressonia. I usually get insomnia or have trouble getting to sleep just before the onset of a cold or something. Oh, okay. Finally. I just want to know how long those buses are going to last before they start having problems. Or if a driver runs them too low on a charge. I was in the training with that. When you guys had a school holiday, the Thomas rep came down and told us about the buses. And he said, if you run this all the way out of a charge, there's a chance the batteries cannot be recharged again. Really? $100,000 to replace the batteries. Whose idea was it to go electric? Don't do Electric Avenue. It'll cost you too much. That's crazy. Hey, Frog Eat Frog. Well, I'm disappointed that the Bills lost. I know E-Rock is too. Who are they down to? What are the playoff games this weekend? They better not be here in the South or they're all going to be a mess. Be called the Slurpee Bowl. Okay. I hate Colorado even though I'm from there. I will never be a Patriots fan. Never. And I'm going to go for the Seahawks against the Rams, even though I'm from California. Any of you guys old enough to remember the early 80s? I was in elementary school. They had them little football helmets that you could collect. The Bengals, all the different helmets you could collect. Oh, wow, Jessica. They lost their quarterback. That was last week's game with the Bills, wasn't it? You remember that, Michael? I think if I remember, some of them had pencil sharpeners up underneath the helmet. Man, if anybody had all those, they might be worth something today. Remember Pez dispensers? Some of those are worth big money. It's all right, Carrie. How are you? Wow, Aunt Mary, I'm surprised. He did used to help me clean that. They're letting him get away with it. That's sad. Y'all should protest, Mary. Y'all should say, we want Mike back and make a scene. That'd be funny. I would love that. Had everyone from Quarter Gum all machine. You be careful. Aunt Mary, be careful. Be careful driving in that weather tomorrow. People cannot drive in Augusta when the sun's out, and then you get a little rain and they're all over the place. I'm going to tell people this again. I've lived all over the USA. When you have bad weather, slow down. I love it when people decide they're going to run late to wherever. It's raining, but I'm going to go 65. Look at Michigan. Michigan knows better. They got what? A foot of snow on the interstate, the roads, 100-car and truck pile up, and they're going so fast you see a Ryder truck or a FedEx truck all the way down into the median in the middle of the snow. Man, y'all could avoid that. Slow down. Going fast today, that nice little car or hoopty you bought could be your casket tomorrow. I don't know why people feel the insane need to hurry up. I'm fast. I move fast. I do things fast. But when I drive, I don't play that game. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. The turtle, when it's bad weather, the turtle wins the race. If they want to dock you for being late and you're never late, say, look, I left at my normal time. The conditions are bad. I had to steer around accidents, but I'm here, so chut it. Work sometimes forgets they're not your Lord and Savior. Vintage lava lamps. That's awesome. Jessica, I didn't know you 40 minutes away. Is that all highway driving? and any trolls listening, Aunt Mary was one of my coworkers. And she said everything I've been saying about the other guy being lazy. She said, I've never seen you as racist. She said, the pump area is dirty. Nothing's getting done. I love it when it comes out of the mouths of others. And I didn't pay her. I didn't even know she lived in my hood. God is good. God is good. Mary, I know you're off on your way to your bus, but thank you. You made my day. She would tip me. I never made that. She gave me money. She goes, I just want to give you this because you always check my oil. And I said, but that's my job. And she goes, but you do it with a good attitude and you care. Very nice human being. Yes, Tatters, absolutely. Hey, Jordan, I'm all right. How are you? You know what? It wouldn't hurt any of these employers, any of them. Say, we're going to shut down today. We're going to give you a paid day off. Thank you for your contribution to our company. Stay home. It's not going to hurt them to do it. It's not going to hurt them to do it. Why does everything have to go? Sometimes God brings weather to stop us, to remind us we are not in control. And we forget that. Oh, I got anti-lock and I got airbags and I've got all-time four-wheel drive, and God's up there going, you think you're all that on a stick, don't you? Watch what I send down there and watch your anti-lock full-time 4x4 end up upside down in the culvert. Get back to me on that. Hello, Chris. What are we talking about, Luke? What are you talking about, a hairnet? Educate me, Luke. That's right, Jordan. Hey, we're all walking this path. You know what? I watched a bunch of trolls. They showed a pickup truck coming down a hill in Oregon, and he turned left into a parking lot, and there's somebody standing for him. Oh, he's going to hit. Oh, he's going to hit. And sure enough, he piled into four other vehicles. You're taking a left turn on an incline. The minute you turn your wheels, your truck has a mind of its own. Gravity sucks. And all the comments, well, you should put winter tires on there. Dumb. Did you know you can have studded snow tires and you get glare ice? I've watched it. I've had chains on the bus. And if it's slick, the chains are shiny metal. Drift. There are conditions sometimes so bad that you just need to put it in park and call it a day. If you really want to be ready, get 8-inch spikes and you can just go and drive to work. People are so dumb. I didn't have anti-lock brakes on any of the trucks I owned back in the day. Never lost one in the culvert. When I had my two-wheel drive F-150, I put railroad ties and a bunch of bricks in the back end. Or sometimes if I didn't do it the night before, I'd shovel around my truck and throw all that snow in the back until the bed sunk down a little bit. You know how much difference that weight makes? It gives you enough traction to get around. I showed up at Denver schools, didn't miss a beat. Mike, how you get around in a rear-wheel drive truck? Said, you see the mountain of snow in the back? I wondered, man, how do you get all that snow? I said, I cleaned out the rear around my truck. It's not what you drive, it's how you drive. When it's really bad, shoot, these new 4x4s now, their ground clearance is a joke. Well, there's such a thing as getting so much wet, heavy snow pushed up under your oil pan that pretty soon you're bottoming out. And that snow, you'd be bulldozing it, and eventually it'll lift your wheels up enough where you're just doing this. Even the Deuce that I had. You go down a hill in glare ice, that truck at 14,000 pounds is going to go like this. It's not going to dig in. It's ice. Mina, how are you? I don't like anarchism. That's what riots are. Anarchy. Neanderthal. Stupid. I don't get my way, so let's smash everything. That is adult toddlers. If I don't get my way, I'm going to go steal a TV. I'm going to bust all the windows and spray paint everything. Set everything on fire. I'll be like Beavis and Butt. Let's burn stuff. That's cool. Let's do that. Crazy. Mina, allow me to say this. You need to do your channel because you love it. When I started doing my channel, I did it because I like to communicate. When you love what you're doing, then it will grow. If you're doing it to get views, you probably shouldn't be doing it. If you look at YouTube, there's a lot of channels that get all the views and they're garbage. Hey, MC. Since I'm so all the place to say, I just want to say, Mike, glad I caught you this morning. I know you get passionate and turn comments off. It seems I've only been catching those, so glad it's on. Donate. I didn't say donate, Mina. You have to love what you're doing. There are channels that have all the views and they're garbage. I won't watch them. It's not about likes. Do you do the channel because you like it? You like to dance and sing and be silly on your videos, then do it. Another thing it has to do with Mina's algorithms. YouTube. See, Mina doesn't know what a jukebox is. I don't think they ever had them in Nepal. Mina, a jukebox would be in a restaurant. And it has records, rows and rows of records. And you could push F4 and you could play this song. And F5 would play that song. And the record would come out, set down, play it. And when that song was done, it would go back to its spot and another. And that's what YouTube does. YouTube will push the videos forward or not. I call it the giant octopus. Let's put Michael in today. Let's put Mina in. Let's put CB in. There's times that I will upload a short and within minutes, it's hundreds of views. I'm like, whoa, that's blowing up. They must have put that on the front feed. Other times I put a video and it just languishes. I'm like, that one didn't get selected on the jukebox. And then there's the other part, Mina, is that the more fans you get, they'll start sharing with their fans or their friends. You can't do your channel based on views. It all has to do with people's interests. It all has to do with likes. Most of the world would not sit in and listen to my channel. Because I say things and believe things that a lot of people are going to go, You have to find your niche. Vending machine for music. Yes, lady, absolutely. It was cool to watch. And these were back in the day. The technology back then, I mean, the way that thing would just and then put it right back in its spot. They didn't have a computer chip. They didn't even have a computer chip. All this crap you got today, 25 cents for 3 songs. Yep. Some of those jukeboxes are worth money. Some of those Art Deco ones with the curved corner glass with the colorful lights. Very fun. I think Wurlitzer even made a jukebox. They were the king of organs. And the old theater organs. Oh, I love those. The old theater organs where there's the stage and then you see this Lazy Susan pop up with the guy at the Wurlitzer, and all the instruments are built into the walls of the theater. And different stops you pull and different things. You could have all the brass, all the strings. You could have a police siren, the old-fashioned ones. You could have ship horns. The theater organ replaced the orchestra. The old theaters. And people were against it. But it was cheaper. Can you believe that? Putting all that stuff in the building was cheaper than hiring orchestras. Oh my gosh. Think about the evolution. I grew up on records. We had 8-track, cassette, the micro cassette, then the CD. Who buys CDs anymore? Shoot, remember the floppy disk on a computer? All that's gone. It's always fun to go in an old building and see the old green phosphorus computer screens all sitting in a jumbled up piles like there's no value in this crap. Obsolete. And those things were heavy. The tower was heavy. The monitor weighed a ton. Yep. I love the old police sirens back in the day. I liked radio drama. They'd use the old pipe organs. And they'd have people acting in a studio. Bob, come on, man. Just take a hit. It'll make you feel good. No, man, I don't want to do drugs. Trust me, man. It'll make your problems go away. Little did they realize Bob was about to make a very bad decision. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That radio drama was awesome. They had a program called Unshackled. Pacific Garden Mission out of Chicago. One of the best programs ever. The 60s, 70s. Stories of people becoming unshackled, people getting saved. I went to Vietnam. I fell in love with the Vietnamese. I got into Eastern religion. I smoked some pot. I did some crack. You know, it was part of the free love, man. Came back to the U.S., bought a VW bus and traveled around. And I still had this emptiness that I couldn't explain. I mean, it was good stuff. Good stories, true stories. Hey, Sam, how are you? Dragnet, yes. Yep, War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Farmer and his wife come in the house, turn on the old tube radio, and New York is being inundated. And they're thinking this is news. Unshackled. You can pull it up on YouTube. It's harder to find, but some old school Christian radio stations still broadcast that show. Yeah, War of the Worlds was the fiction written by H.G. Wells at that time if an alien invasion were to happen to the U.S. Shoot, every time Nikki comes in, I always go, Nikki! That's kind of neat when my channels come home. I didn't think anybody in Augusta was watching. This is a city of 200,000, about the same size as Spokane. Similarities are scary. They're both kind of dead towns. But the cultural gap between the two is massive. Spokane had some things going for it. You don't have termites, you don't have fire ants, you don't have all them bugs and skeeters and stuff. Their summers were nowhere near as brutal as here. I could live in Spokane. As a homeowner, I could live there, have a relative peaceful life. Spokane was #1 in the U.S. for carjacking or auto theft. Don't know why. Bored white people with nothing to do but steal trucks and cars. I lived there for a time, Fancy. The summers are much more pleasant than here. They'll get up to 100 degrees, but it always cools at night there. You don't have that humidity over there. Bowling Picture State Park and the swinging bridge. I used to sit on the rail, because the rail was fat. It's got tension cables, and when somebody'd walk, you'd feel that thing move. Right over the Spokane River, which comes out of Lake Coeur d'Alene, or goes into it, I can't remember which. In the spring, that river's a raging torrent. And I'd sit on the rail and stare down and see that white foam. And I'd pretend I'm on the back of a giant ship going across the Pacific looking at the wake. The river was big enough I could just look down and not see the shore and the trees. I'm like, I would love to be on the back of a ship just watching the wake go by. That'd be so awesome to me. I'm not into fast cars. Spokompton. I was up in Colville too, Fancy, for a time, 5 months. My uncle lives up there. Thank you, Sam. Don't get stuck in the snow, Nikki. I can't helicopter in and get you. We're going to be in our own mess over here. Hi, Sir Jacob. I need to buy a can opener because that thing's about to go boobs up too. I got one of those hand can openers. They don't even make those things like before. Let's see, can opener. I need to go straight to Walmart after work tomorrow. What else do I need? Bananas. Hey, the egg warrior. Thus Sam turned into an egg. Eggs are good. Do you like balut? Dinty Moore. Don't stress, Nikki. Don't worry. Be happy. You heard a big snowstorm's coming. Gotta get some groceries. Don't worry. Do it while the weather's nice. Yeah, Sir Jacob, nothing like running out of bung paper. I finally got smart. You notice how much TP's gone up? Stupid high. How about the Great Value 36 roll? I started looking, the more bulk you buy, the Walmart prices are lower. You buy the 4-pack, add up enough to make 36, you're going to pay way more than the 36 count. Walmart actually encourages you to buy more than you need. Like, well, you always need the toilet paper. Might be next summer before I run out, but hey. February 3rd at approximately 7 p.m. California time is the midpoint of winter. Really? I did not know that. Yeah, and they call them mega rolls. MAGA. Make going potty great again. I got a hot water toilet because of a mistake I made. I'm probably the only hot water toilet in America. This is Robin Leach of the Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Yes, Michael so wealthy has a hot water toilet. I had the pipes coming from behind the bathroom wall in the dining room. I did that shiplap and I made it so you could remove the boards and access that plumbing. I ran one pipe longer than the other to connect in with the cold and the hot. And without realizing it, I extended the cold to the hot and shortened the hot to the cold. So the faucet in the sink and the faucet in the tub are reversed. And of course, that all tied into the toilet line. I went to the bathroom after my plumber's done. I'm like, why do I have immediate hot water? Now, I know it takes a minute to get to the water heater. I'm like, oh, the hot water is reversible, and I connected to the old metal pipes right in the bathroom wall. I connected into the main junction that hits the tub, toilet, and the shoot off of that was the toilet supply line. And I'm like, great, I got a hot water potty. Awesome. But it's nice because you go in there and the tank's all warm. I'm like, well, that's not a bad thing. That is kind of a radiant heat. So that's, and the good thing is I'm not wasting water now. Because when I go to, shower tub, I got hot water instantly after I flush. It's beautiful. You know how you run the cold water till it gets warm? I don't do that anymore. Don't worry. Groceries, don't forget the rice. Do it when the weather is nice. Don't worry. Nikki, be happy. Geoengineered. Hi, Veronica. Colette messaged me. She said they had a cyclone, did some major issues over there in New Zealand. She's got mud, everything all outside. She said nothing damaged the house. No water came in. That poor girl. And I'm going to share this. She said, I'm in this house all alone, going through what I want to, and sometimes I just want to be in somebody's arms being held. That's a woman saying that. We guys want that too. We do. A bidet with warm water. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine a bidet with ice cold water blasting your buns? You're welcome, lady. I can change it. Dun, 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 dun. Here's a story of a lovely lady who is coming into chat to hear Michael talk. There were others, just like their mother, hanging on every word. I wanted to do a modern version of the Brady Bunch. Here's a story of a lovely lady who was busy with 3 troubled girls of her own. All of them had Tourette's, just like their mother, the youngest one on meds. Here's a story of a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own. All of them were weird like Dad. Wow, yeah, we got to work on that. Bobby was trans. Bobby. And you thought Cindy was the irritating girl? Wait till you see her now. Cindy on steroids. You imagine Marsha Day? Girl, it's not about you. Nobody cared about Marsha no more. She was cute. What was her real name again? Maureen. Was it Maureen? Bobby could be Bobby. I don't remember Amanda Bynes. Who is that? But did you know that Alice was gay? With Ann B. Davis as Alice. I thought she really liked Sam. No, she liked girls. She wasn't checking out Sam at the meat counter. Do they have a special on clams, Sam? I am Sam, I am, and I have a special on clams, Alice. Sorry. A little bit corrupt. Michael Brady was gay. Oh, Susan Olsen. That little girl used to get on my nerves. Or no, Nellie, with the little curls. She was the town snot. Her mother wasn't much nicer. And that old man that ran the store reminded me of Bob Newhart. He seemed to be a reasonable man, but his wife and that daughter of his, that'd make anybody want to go live on the corner of a roof somewhere. Yes, we have no bananas. Michael ate all of them today. With granola and peanuts and popcorn. Oh, I can't do the popcorn. Tell you what, I'm driving a forklift yesterday, and I have told this gentleman repeatedly, he's huge. And he'll get right up close. I'd stop. I said, do not walk alongside. No, I'm good. I said, you're not. You get your foot under that wheel, it will crush every bone in your foot. Do not do that. And he's unsafe around it. And he was bragging the other day about how he's all about safety. I'm coming down a narrow aisle, and he decides to walk around. I said, man, I told you not to do that. And I did. I went to my supervisor. I said, I am telling you this because if he gets hit, I don't want to get in trouble. He goes, I'm going to say something that he said. If he goes around you and gets hit, and you've told me, I will go to bat for you. I mean, when he does that, I just stop. It's that stupid stand-up thing. And I'll tell you, it sucks when you live in a world where you always have a coworker that just is a problem like that. Hi, Miss Bivens. How are you? Miss Bivens, we're supposed to have a weather event starting tomorrow up here. They're talking widespread power outages, ice, snow. E-Rock's looking at 8 inches. And Nikki, how much snow are you supposed to get? Fred Hinkle says 2 feet forecast in Indiana. It's going to be a mess, basically from east of the Mississippi all the way down to us. I really don't want to be without the power when it's cold. That sucks. So, if you go to my channel and there's 2 days of silence, you know why. Sir Jacob, what bothers me is there's basic common sense. And he didn't say, I'm sorry, he just kept walking and ignored me. So I mirrored back to him. I had packed up an item on the table because I'd taken it to the shop they had to get the rust off it and paint it. And I heard him ask me, what happened to the shaft? And I kept boxing up something. I was making so much noise with the packing paper and stuff, and I just pretended I didn't hear him. And I sealed up the box, and I walked away, put it down, and walked on. And thought, I'm going to start mirroring what you're doing. The best and loudest way I've found that I can talk with difficult people, don't say a word. Don't say anything. Jessica, you still here? Miss Bivens. Miss Bivens, how are you doing down there in Miami? Yeah, Jessica, we got a variety of sit downs. We got a big case. It is a backhoe is what it is. It's got the big back tires, the small front with the engine. That is my favorite one. Me and old school get along like a marriage, a good marriage. I love the older it is, the bigger it is. What time is it? I've been documenting the clown. We're trying to get a pattern established. What is the date today? 22nd. He's got a shift change or something because he was leaving at 6:30. Now it's 5:49. But he hasn't been tearing through here. E-Rock said, I hope he does it when there's ice. I said, if he comes out of there and does that and slips on that ice and slams into a tree, I'm going to roll video in my yard. If he says anything, I'm going to say, I'm out here doing surveillance. Don't mind me. You all right over there? Oh, wow, you really messed up your car. What a shame. A black cop caught up with him the other day, and she set it straight real quick. Now he's got the governor on him. Why you got to go through there? And that street, I've been paying attention now because he's alerted me. And others are talking. I said, there's an awful lot of traffic down that street. That's not a cut-through street to anywhere. That street is literally for the people who live there. And I've seen girls, women, all over the years come and go. They're going down there to get their drugs or perform acts of prostitution. I'm like, man, they need to get the cops down here to keep an eye on things. I bet you there's a drug house that needs to be raided over there. I saw the Northern Lights in Virginia, Minnesota years ago. I was going out to my truck to go to Gilbert, Minnesota to drive a bus for a job, and walked out the front of the house facing north, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. That's cool. We don't get those brilliant colors though, like you see up in Alaska. Literal trash music. What is trash music? Well, I have my opinions about what I think is trash. I've already covered that. What are you doing, girl? You're laying down. Sit up. I'm all right. I didn't know you could see the Northern Lights in Kentucky. California? Why California? Hey, Nasty Rays, how are you? I'm all right. I'm not looking forward to the weekend. They're forecasting rather dramatically a bad storm. Yep. I polished off a banana. Not where we can see Jessica. I can message you about that. What for, Nasty? And I'm sorry to hear that. So Jessica, you drive the stand-up lifts too. I hate them. I've gotten used to it, but I hate that stupid thing. The forklift looks like a backhoe. The back wheels are actually your front. And the engine and the little wheels are behind you. So when you're driving, you see these big tractor tires. It's very cool. They're stupid. Spinning that little wheel, and they got these big club feet that hang out wider than the body. The thing's a blind spot. And our warehouse, every warehouse is unique, but they don't have nice wide aisles. Every available space, they're stacking stuff. The pallet racks are like this. I got to lift it up, slide it, scissors it in out. And they got the boxes where you got that much room between that and the top rail. And you're like, who did this? There's no wiggle room. And you go to gently pull it out and box flap catches. Crap. I hate that. I love the old tractors, man. I worked on a 1920s tractor in the auto shop. My shop teacher was very happy with me. He fired it up, said, since you worked on it, you get to drive it. Man, I got up on that dang thing. Mammoth High School, they made fun of me. And I drove behind the back of the school, and all the people in the high school classroom were like, interrupting class. Oh my gosh, Nelsie's on the tractor. Look, Nelsie's over there driving the farm tractor. Everybody get up and look out the window. What's Nelsie doing? I'm the only one that got to drive it. Ha! That was fun. A big, giant, yellow tractor. And those were heavy. Everything was cast iron. There were no aluminum blocks. And that was fun, Miss Bivens. I did that last night. Jessica, we got one in one of our warehouses. It's really cool. It's a propaner. The case is a diesel. And then those stand-up things are electric. Leaking hydraulic fluid, belts whining and everything. I said, do you think we can get this service before it goes boobs up? Because it's gonna. And then the one guy lifts stuff that's heavier than it should for it. And it's squirting hydraulic fluid. I'm like, isn't there something in the manual that this shouldn't be done? But they got one where the forks, they scissors in and out, and the forks can turn to the left. We got aisles so narrow, I have to drive in, turn the forks to the left, way up 3 tiers high. It's got a spotlight, which I love because there's no lights in that warehouse. Pull that thing out, flip it, set it down, go through all the contents to find one part, put everything back in the ProMade, lift it up, put it back. It's crazy. And somebody went in there and dropped one of the pallets, knocked the 2x4s out between the rails, and dumped it. I'm like, wow, I'm glad somebody reported that. The owner said, can you go in there? I'm going to have one guy take the forklift and haul the scissors lift down there. I said, yeah, I'll clean it up. Crazy. Oh, I love it. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Breaking news. I don't care. The news has become like that. They orchestrate drama. It's ridiculous. I'm going to tell y'all something funny, and if she's hearing, she'll get a laugh out of it. But Bridge, I was asleep the other night. And I hear one of the ringtones on my phone. I'm like, I didn't know what time it was. I'm like, I lay there and say, who is calling me at this hour of the night? Nobody calls me at this hour. I didn't get up because I was so warm and toasty, and I was like, nope. And I got these little chimes. I wake up, I forgot about it. I'm checking message on Discord, and she goes, I see a missed call. I'm like, oh, that rascal. I just had to call you because I had to ask you something about something you told me. What's with the fake ASS friends you got in chat? Because I told her about 3 people that were acting up and that I let them go. They're done. I don't like it when somebody plays games with me. Shows an interest in me, was dating the one guy or had an interest dating, Then she's coming on to me, but she only messaged me when she's at work. And then she said, well, I blocked this guy. He's bad. He's bad. He's bad. Then she's sending me screenshots of this guy ripping on me. Pictures of ripping on me. While he's having a conversation live with somebody else who come in here. And I messaged her. You blocked him, right? And then I'm like, Mike, use your brain. She didn't block him. She's still all in it. You have no idea what these 3 cats are doing. So I'm like, block, bye. I don't got time for that crap. I do not. That's cool, drive your tractor. I've heard of that to school. We got 2 scissors lift in one of the warehouses. Neither one of them work. They're rechargeables. And I made a comment. I said, can we get these serviced? And they don't work. I said, well, can we get them out of here because they're bricks? Oh, they can't move them. They got to get in here with the forklift and lift them out. And one of them doesn't have fork spots. Great. So how do you get this thing out of here? Push, pull, or drag? Crazy. You got to see some of the stuff we have. I'm walking down an aisle loaded with pallets and threading in between them to get to the ProMaids. And there's a big, giant, solid steel, on a pallet, massive winch. I'm like, this is something that goes on the deck of a ship. And my boss said, it probably is. I said, what is this stuff doing in here? You want me to pull that? Does that need to be foamed? Probably about 2,000 pounds. Miss Bivens, I have a song for you. It's for all of us that live in this world. Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Little dig about chat room fun. Bunch of American kids doing the best they can. Miss Bivens gonna be a modeling star. Sir Jacob's gonna see how fast he go in his hot rod car. I don't know about sucking on a chili dog, though. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. Sucking on chili dog. Yeah, that song, that is the only one I like by Mellencamp. It does kind of capture the reality of it all. That's right, Sam. Not always, but sometimes if you pay attention to my music shorts, people are critical. Man, you don't know how to dance. Yeah, I do. But I use this song for a reason. I did People in a Box. That was a 1980 song by the Christian band Farrell and Farrell. Guy sitting in front of the TV set watching. They tell me what to wear, how to do my hair, how to smell, what to drive. And I finally realized they could be lying. People in a box, TV personality, show me how to walk. Tell me that still isn't going on today. This is CNN. Oh, we got to get the news. You're not getting the news, dude. People in a box telling you what to think. Christians do it. Did you know that? There are some churches where pastors got their little cult corner going on. When I mention a cult, I talk about groups that deny the Lord Jesus Christ. But there are characteristics where you can be cult-like. Cult-like is believing a bunch of stuff that isn't true, even if it has nothing to do with our Lord and Savior. The BLM movement, that's a cult thinking. The Democrats, cult thinking. Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses. But you got people that are cult-like. Oh, did you buy a Subaru Outback? Do you wear Land's End and LL Bean and North Face? No, I don't do any of the above. What's wrong with you? I'm not a sheeple. I told you the story when I climbed a Colorado mountain one day. You're welcome, Miss Bivens. Hello, Crafty. I know, this is awesome. I cut the neck out to make it Michael style. I think some of that stuff is beautiful, Jim. They don't build buildings like that anymore. You know what I think is the ugliest thing ever built in the United States? Strip malls and malls. Because when they go out of business, I soar. I love going through American towns with a closed Dollar Tree, closed fast food, strip malls, graffiti all over the windows, trash all over the parking lot, street lights dangling down, and they don't do anything with them. People smash stuff. Teenage troubled kids go in there and do whatever they do in an abandoned building. Stupid. Should be a criminal offense to make strip malls. They're the ugliest architecture ever. Flat, leaky roofs, fake facades, and ugly storefronts. They rape everybody of their money, and then they call it quits and go home. I was following that Swiss bar. And they're blaming one of the waitresses, saying she gave everybody the wine bottles with the sparklers in them. And people were saying, oh, the owners are just trying to pass the blame. Well, the owners are under fire too. They live in France. And they were talking about leaving and escaping. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits. But I'm going to remind everybody of something foundational. You're going in a place to get drunk. You need to assume your own liability. And you got grown people thinking, hey, sparklers in a champagne bottle. Let me sit on the guy's shoulders as he's walking through and sparks are shooting into the ceiling. There ought to be a requirement that you sign an affidavit before you come in that the company is not liable for your death. You're drunk, now you got a sparkler, and you're right up against the ceiling with it. That reminds me of the station. Was that Rhode Island or New Jersey? They ended up calling it the fire station when they had Great White show up. Low ceiling. They had one door in. The back door was blocked or something. It was snow on the ground, cold winter night. They outpacked the place with all the deadheads. And this on the stage, which is elevated, with the pyrotechnics, with no space. As it's igniting the ceiling, the fans are in there going, yeah, wow. Hey, clowns, did you know the building's on fire? Huh? What, that's not part of the show? Hey, Beavis, I think the ceiling's on the ceiling's on fire? I thought that was part of the show. I think we need to get out of here. We're going to burn. Burn? That sounds cool. All of a sudden, when everybody realized, panicked, and then they try to go out an opening the size of the neck of a champagne bottle, and everybody pushes and shoves, grown adults, under the influence of stupidity and liquor. Let's all see how many people we can fit through this little orifice. I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine what it's like when you can't get out and you got to be burned to death. That's crazy. Switzerland was that all over again. Who allowed sparklers in an indoor environment? If you're in a coliseum with cement everywhere, but there needs to be a law. No fireworks inside a building, ever. And the owners or whoever's running the bar that night said, hey, get those things out of here. You're in a Swiss chalet building. A lot of wood in those things. Once you ignited that ceiling, it's over. Clowns, man. What happened to common sense? What happened to common sense? May not. That's awesome, Jim. Hey, Carol. Anybody remember the station disaster? What was that, 2003? I did a YouTube video on it on my previous channel a long time ago. And they called it the fire station, but it was sad. It's the largest nightclub fire disaster ever. Now Switzerland dials in as right up there. Alcohol and good judgment don't mix. Sparklers in a bottle. Now you're going to ride up on the shoulders of somebody. And the waitress is handing them out. Do you think she even feels bad? Do you think she even cares? I looked at her. She's blonde. She's probably like, oh my gosh, I got to go to court, really? Yeah, dumb. You better hope you don't got money in the bank because you're going to have some lawsuits on your butt. That's crazy. That is just crazy. Thank you, Sangeeta. Pyrotechnics does not belong in a wooden building ever. You do that stuff outside in an open park. Can you imagine a bunch of drunk people on a submarine? Oh, it's hot. I'm going to open the door. Do not open the door. No, but it's hot. Don't open the door. Did you notice the people that went to that? Attractive. The girls were hot. Did you notice a direct correlation between hot women and density? Do you notice that? The old joke about blondes still holds true. I don't understand why the building burned down. We just had sparklers. It's not like we set something on fire. And guys want to date that. Yellow hair Michael children. What, this? Oh, that's my friend. Yellow hair children. Can you believe that? And the owner should be going around and checking things before a big event, saying doors are good, everything's ready to go. One of the sad shipwrecks is the Lusitania. 2:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday, wrapping up a transatlantic voyage 8 miles off Old Head of Kinsale, Ireland. There's a chatter that comes in here every so often. He lives in Ireland within a short distance from that memorial. It's on a high green emerald hill looking out where the Lusitania sank on the North Atlantic. The Blue Danube Waltz was playing. They had finished up the lunch. They'd probably have a tender dropping off at Queenstown, then continue on to most likely Liverpool, Southampton, whatever. U-Boat 20, Captain Walter Schweiger. A dirty dog, evil man. One of his men spied the Lucy, broadside. They salivated and readied the torpedo tubes and fired at him. A ship 100 feet shorter than the Titanic hit, blew up deep in the hold of the ship, and literally within seconds took a sharp list. Can't lower the lifeboats off the high side. The lights go out. The electronic lift goes out. People are down in their cabins. And all of a sudden, they can't get out. The ship tilts. You can't walk upstairs. You can't go down halls. People are stepping on people and doors. 18 minutes to get over 2,000 people off a ship like that is not going to happen. Cecilia, abortion saves lives. Well, go do the world a favor then, honey. You leave a comment like that, you got problems. And that's not in chat, people. The comment flips up where somebody leaves some. All right, Jessica, you have a good day and be careful out there. Don't give out your phone number to anybody, Mina. That's the only thing I can tell you. Change your password on your YouTube. Do that right away. Sign out and put in a new password. A Korean woman? Wow. Are you sure it's a woman and not a man posing? Crazy people. Well, your channel's still going, so I don't think she hacked, but go change your YouTube account password. And I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. $1,198 people went to a watery grave. Liners are beautiful. It's nice when you can walk and enjoy the beauty of the inside of a ship. But when the ship is no longer being a ship and it's now your tomb, trying to get out in the dark, when you are down below deck, you can't see a blasted thing when the lights go out. That's why I tell people all the time, whether you're on a cruise or an airplane, pay attention to the boat drills and the stewardess. You may have heard it 10,000 times, but familiarize yourself. In the event you're in total darkness, you can count how many seats are in front of you before the exit. 1 seat, 2 seat, 3 seat, take a right, there it is. And feel around for the lock release. Do you know how to get out of a problem? Most people just sit there when the stewardess talks and goes, wah. Hey, that plane could have a problem today. Do you know how to get out of there? Same with a ship. Do you know how to get out of there when it's cast into total darkness? And you got acres and acres of ship. Do you know how to feel your way out to an upper deck? If you're trapped below, do you know how to break the window in your cabin to get out? You might want to familiarize yourself everywhere you go. When you're in a restaurant, I like to sit where I can see everybody. I don't like my back to the front door. That way, some clown comes in with a gun, I go, let's see. I know there's a back door behind that kitchen. I'm going to run through that kitchen. If the staff says, hey, there's a gunman, get out of my way. If you got a bathroom with a solid hardwood door, you can lock yourself in. And if it's got one of them drop ceilings and the wall goes up far enough, you can get up on the toilet. Hopefully you can lift yourself up and get out of. Be careful where you step, though. You punch through the roof. They showed some clown breaking into a Circle K or something, or a convenience store, and he got up into the roof or in the drop ceiling. The store owner came in and saw where he had climbed up one of the shelves. And he said, I know you're up there. And the guy took a step and poof, right through the tile. And he got him. Oh, yes, the Estonia was a bad one. How many people died on that? You can froth soda pop. I'm glad you blocked her, Sangita. I'm sorry you went through that. That's crazy. Are you flirting up Miss Bivens over there? What is going on in this room? Look at that. Sam is pouring it on. Pouring it on. Got the little, oh. I see you looking at her face, pig. Sam, you dirty little pig. I'm just messing. Flirting with the ladies. Freely encouraged in my chat. Somebody said I should start a dating site. I said, no. I don't want to be sued if it goes bad. Sam, you need a wife. Larissa needs a husband. Larissa, Miss Bivens, she's jumping on me about lipstick. She's like a mother to me, scolding me. She's going to take me over her leg and pout on my butt. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's too many for modern times. I remember watching something on that about the bay doors or whatever. There was something wrong with the bay doors on that. One of the worst disasters of all time that most people don't know about. Sangita, you and I cannot get married. You're too far. You're cute. You're nice, but you're too far. Mina's cute. She want husband bad. But she's in Nepal, folks. You have to go visit her. You have to go get a visa to visit her. Then you got to spend time getting to know each other. And then you got to process her to come back to the U.S. You know, it's funny. All the illegals can walk right in. But if you go find a wife over there, watch the process you got to go through to get her to the U.S. It is ridiculous. Excruciating. Costly. You usually have to get an immigration lawyer to make it work. So, but the illegals can walk right in. There's a lot of Nepalese in the U.S. A lot. I don't know if they came over as refugees, but when I was in Denver, we had a ton of Nepalese. They were working at Walmart. They were riding my school bus. One day, these Nepalese boys got on the bus with a damn Monopoly set and threw fake money all over the bus. So, wow, you boys make a mess in here. I don't like that. Yeah, I remember that. Estonia. The Danya Paz is the Philippine Titanic. The Danya Paz. Thousands of dead. That was a ferry. It was the holidays. They didn't restrict how many people could come on the ship. They were everywhere. They were on the decks. They were in the corridors and the hallways. They do not have an accurate number of how many people, up to 5,000 people. A tanker ship, and it collided in the night. Fire broke out, the oil. Ugly, ugly scene. The Philippines was a little too lax. You can watch it. It's heartbreaking. Young women and Filipinos going back to see their families for the holidays. 4,000 plus. They still don't have an accurate number because they did not have a roster They didn't have a manifest showing how many people boarded. You get on a cruise ship, everything is documented on land and on the boat. The Doña Paz. I can't watch that without crying. That was a totally preventable tragedy. Overloaded to the max. People jumped in the world and the oil from the tanker ignited, and what a crappy situation. And that was just for those that tried to get off. So many people on there, they were plugged in there and stuck in there like sardines in a can. Humans should be treated like that. Yep, Envy Doña Paz, that's the exact video. Thank you. Those of you that are in ship history might want to watch that. And you know what pisses me off about our society? Even in America, it's a caste system. You think they'll make a movie on that? No. Do you think most people in the U.S. even know about it? No. Why does the Titanic get preeminence? Because they were rich on it, that's why. Nobody cares about a bunch of poor, hardworking people in a foreign country. Nobody cares. That's what's wrong with our society. That should bother us as much as the Titanic. In fact, it should bother us more. That the owners of the shipping company, that the captain didn't have enough jurisprudence to say, hey, there's way too many people on here. This isn't safe. All about profit. Yeah, they were sleeping everywhere. They were all in the aisleways and the decks. They were all over the place. Hey, thank you, lady. I always enjoy you coming in. You have a good day and be safe. We all got to keep an eye to the sky. Please do not stand under power lines while there's an ice storm. Not a good idea. Or a tree. And did you know in America there have been kids killed by icicles dropping off of eaves? Do not walk under icicle eaves. One year in Mammoth, a 2-story house with a cathedral ceiling, had a drought that year, so we didn't get a lot of snow. But we got a little bit of snow, and get warm in the day and cold. The icicles were this big around, 20 feet tall. My dad would take the broom, open one of the upstairs windows, and knock them off. I decided to do that when they weren't home. One of the icicles was so long, I hit it with the broomstick, and instead of breaking off from the eave, it broke in the middle. The top part between the eave and the middle went straight into the bathroom window. Landed in the toilet room. I told my dad what happened. I did not get in trouble. He said, from now on, let me handle those. But we were told, do not walk underneath the eaves of the house. You know how much weight there is to an icicle this big, 20 feet? That thing will crush you. And kids are playing with that stuff. Playing under the eaves, tapping on them. Get your dang children away from that stuff. Hey, Mango, how are you? Lady, you have a great day too. You've already left. The big difference between the Olympic and Titanic had a partially enclosed promenade deck. The Olympic was all open. but they were carbon copies of each other. Yes, that's right. I'm all right. Love, how come you can't hear me? I can't call you FCT. I call you Love. I know that sounds weird. You're a guy. Hi, Love. There's a guy at work that gets pissy with me, and I said, I love you. He goes, that just means you're going to ask me for something. I said, no, honey, not today. Even the supervisor says, why do you act like a girl? I said, he does. He gets all pissy back there. And I said, man, I feel like you're my wife when I got to ask you a question about where something is. It could be stupider. Icicles are no joke. Even those small, thin ones, they fall just right. That point, take your eye out. That's going to hurt. They're spears, man. And I had icicles on the house that winter that looked like cave stalagmites. No, stalactites are the ones that come from the top down. Stalagmites are the ones, correct me on that, Jim. I used to know some of my spelunking stuff. Stalactites come from the top, stalagmites are from the bottom. It's where calcification drips and creates reverse icicles. But when they connect, they become solid stone. Do I want a wife? Why did you put me on the spot? I want a girlfriend, and we'll see how that goes. Not a live-in. If after a year I haven't gotten sick of her, then sure. Mango, you are so bad. Stop it. Read Mango's comment, you guys. Read that. Oh my gosh, is that funny? Bad boy. American snowmobilers, the height of stupidity. Let's go up the flank of a steep mountain with new fallen snow and do arcs with snowmobiles. Loud, causing vibration. Let's go up higher this time. Now you've loosened the snowpack. Let's do one more. Uh-oh, here comes the mountain. Here comes the avalanche. And you got your snow machine open up to 100 miles an hour trying to outrace that damn thing. Dumb. Don't play with the world out there. It usually wins. You do not. They had to advertise these snowmobiles and say stupidity not included. Each sold separately. Why do people test things? They say test fate. I'm going to say, why do you test God? You think you're bulletproof? That may be the day that you find out you're not. Also, you can have bragging rights. Also, you can look cool in front of your stud muffin boyfriends. You're a fool. Let's see how close to a great white shark I can get without my head getting bit off. That sounds like a fun day. So many girlies just grab a guy to pay the bills. That's it. Most women are out to exploit us for something. That is a known fact. Most women's desires and motives are based on money and financial security. Most guys' decisions are based on that thing between our driving under the influence. When I am in lust, my objectivity level diminishes. You want to know when to test yourself? Well, I shouldn't say it this way, but I'm going to. After the orgasm is over, how do you feel? I have to go. It's time to get ready and prepare for another day at the salt mines. I hope you guys have a good day. If you could, please pray that the storm won't do what they say it's going to do. And if nothing else, pray that at least we wouldn't lose the power. You know, you got old people, you got all kinds of people in Augusta and around that not having heat is a bad thing. That's right, Carol. As I get older, I don't just act impulsively. I go, nah, jumping off of there is going to hurt if I fall. Black guys, we had to climb in the back of a semi-trailer to get something, and he's younger than me. I sat down on the edge of the truck trailer and stepped out. He looked at me and said, I'm getting too old to be jumping out of here. I said, it's happening to both of us, brother. And he did it so carefully. Yeah. Why are looks and strength wasted on the young? We get our brains late and our bodies go to hell by the time we get smart. That's messed up. I don't agree with that. We need to picket. We need to protest. Incarcerate all the young and strong people until they get a brain. Ms. Bivens, thank you for coming in. It's good to see you, and I mean that. Thank you. 58 likes. Not bad. I want to know why I can't get 37,000 likes. Contrast to some Hello Kitty girl in a slinky shirt sitting there going, hi, guys. I don't get that. Because you want to look at YouTube, you want to look at social media, most of the likes go to the woman because she's cute. There's nothing there. She's just showing a little skin. I think it's discrimination. Nobody's going to pay to see me with my shirt off. Nobody. Why do we pay the women to see her with her shirt off? Even me. I have been guilty in the past. I'll see a girl scantily clad on the internet and I'll give her a heart. Michael, why are you doing that? Because you have a boner? You're encouraging her to keep being a little narcissist. So now I don't do it anymore. I resist that. I go, you're being a loosey-goosey on the internet. I'm not going to thumbs up that. You want to be my girlfriend, and you can do that in my house. We're not going to get it to 100 likes. I got to go. But you guys are awesome. Thank you. And you might be right, Mango. There's a sad reality that hits us all that almost 50% of Americans are dumb. Don't believe me? Look at how they vote. Gotta go. You guys be safe. Be careful. And if you got weather coming, use your head. Do your shopping while things are good. Hunker down. Put your car in park. And stay safe. Till next time. Now, Friday's supposed to rain tomorrow, but if you suddenly don't see me, just pray for me. If you don't see videos, it's because the power went off and we're screwed. Statistically, we're all a dime a dozen. That's right. All right, you guys, take care. Be safe.